So okay, go and eat good, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you actually have a plan?
I have to diet properly.
Yeah, you have to have a plan. So, because I know with me, even if I'm training, I'll have my cheat days. Like, do you fit it in
so
or?
Obviously, my last 2 fights have been at 54 kilo.
Yeah.
And my boxing weight's 51 kilos. So I haven't been dieting for them. I could eat what I want. But when I box, so obviously I was supposed to box at 51 kilos. So I was making that weight. I only eat 1,400 calories. I walk around about 52.
52, because you've had to go down.
Yeah, so to make that, but it's only 1 kilo. People that boys at my gym, they go down from 66 kilo to 60 kilo. They go down from 85 kilo to 71 kilo. They drop big weight because they eat a lot. So, but for me, I don't eat no like Asian food, solid, nothing like that. My mum makes my food separate, so I have.
Yeah, that was my weakness, man. That's why I'm a big boy.
And then, so when's the last time you had a proper curry?
This week, innit?
You had your fight recently.
Because I had my fight last week, and then obviously I hurt my hand, so I haven't been training that much. My next fight won't be for another.
That used to be my weakness. So my coach used to say to me, because I boxed at 60 kilo and 63.5, which is like now it's called like light welterweight. So I used to box at lightweight, light welterweight. And I remember when I was meant to have my last few fights, which was meant to be at lightweight, I couldn't do it. Yeah. And my coach was like, bro, get to 60 kilo, like that's where you were a champ at. And I was like, coach, no, let me box at 64 now. It's alright. In reality, I used to come home, my mum used to have nice homemade I couldn't diet, it was too hard for me. I used to just train super hard. And my last fight I had was at 67 kilo. But it was just, it's true, it's like diet's really important.
Because like even my last 2 fights, the one I had not last week, the week before, the boy I weighed in at 51.5. The other boy weighed in at 53.8. When I went, I didn't think we were the same weight. So you're all in a weighing room, yeah? And we're looking around, and my dad said, I reckon that's the boy you're gonna box. I said, no way. He was tall. It was about maybe like 5. It was maybe it was about he's probably about 5'10", yeah. And he was quite big. He was skinny, but like because he's tall, he was built, yeah. So I'm there. I'm thinking, nah, dad, it's not him, man. What are you talking about? And then we're warming up now, and then the boys going to the ring at the same time as me. And I'm like, I'm looking at him, I'm like, oh crap, that guy's big for the weight. And that's why weight's important, isn't it? Because at 51 kilo, I wouldn't have that.
What was the bracket?
So it was.
The
fight was supposed to be at 52 kilo.
Yeah.
So I came in my normal weight around 51.5, and I ate quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other boy came in at 53.8, so he came a bit over. Yeah. But in amateur boxing on home or weight shows, everyone's weight's going to fluctuate because as long as there's about a 2 kilo difference, your coach can still let the fight go.
That's the boundary. Like,
yeah, so my mate came to the show as well from Repton.
Yeah.
He's a good boxer. He came at 6, the fight was supposed to be at 63.5.
Yeah. He
came at 62, the other boy came at 66. The fight didn't happen.
Okay.
So they both come from far. Yeah. But then obviously the weight's too different, so they just don't have it. The fight.
Yeah, it does make a difference, man. If you're fighting someone, even a couple of kilos different.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
Everything. So let me ask you a different question. Do you find is it the same thing, or do you find it's better to like easier, or because I know if you lose weight, I've felt weaker when I lose weight and you cut, right? But do you feel it's easier to gain weight for a fight or to lose weight for a fight?
It depends, because my last fight I had to eat whatever I want, but I feel like I didn't perform as well as I could have. A few weeks ago I had a fight and I was eating clean.
Yeah.
And I was throwing so many punches. Because the boy was so tall, I couldn't box him. I had to just pressure him. Yeah. And for every one shot he threw, I was throwing about 3 punches.
Okay.
And I didn't gas out at all. But then the fight I had a few days ago, I still threw a lot more punches than the other boy, but I felt more tired. And I think that's because I was just eating too much before the fight. Yeah.
The thing is, food makes you sluggish, man. Like if you're not eating the right foods, right, it makes you sluggish and everything. The blood goes in the wrong direction. You know what I mean?
You would know more about that though, cutting weight fights. Yeah.
Did you have to go like?
I cut a lot of weight. Once I remember my 60 kilo fights, I was walking around at like 65. And I was 5 kilo and I was stacked, I was ripped, there was nothing to lose, and I was just getting sauna. I remember I was shadow boxing in the steam room for about a good 30 minutes. Sauna. I probably didn't eat about the night before, and then I just dropped it. But I felt fatigued in the fight. Yeah. So what it was usually when I used to spar big boys that were like 75 kilo. Yeah. And I used to put them on the back foot, because naturally I think I was quite a powerful puncher. Yeah. In the fights that didn't correlate. I used to just be a counter boxer. I had to box on the back foot because I was so fatigued from making weight that I would have to box on the back foot. You had to be a counter and box on the back foot, yeah. But then when I was like at my natural weight, I was dropping people straight away. Like, just.
Do you know, it makes a big difference, man. Like I remember I used to be like, you remember? Yeah. Like, at one point I was overweight, bruv. Yeah. And then something clicked in me. I was like, no, I'm getting back into training, because I used to box. When I did Repton, I boxed for a year, and then I was doing my own boxing where me and my brother would train. And then I stopped for a bit, went to uni, and then when I went uni, Spice Up messed me up.
It's never up to the
Spice Up messed me up.
Yeah.
And then it was like education, and I didn't really think about getting into fighting, like proper fighting. I just wanted to defend myself and then to be strong. But then I lost all my weight, and I remember I was trying to train, and Habs will tell you, you know, yeah. By the way, shout out to Habs, yeah, for MMA Armory, yeah.
Came recording my last fight, gave it a good game.
But yeah, I remember I used to come and go to the Muay Thai sessions at Baden, right?
Yeah.
And I'd come without eating. So I'd wake up in the morning, I'd have a coffee and no food.
Wow.
And then I'd go do 3 hours training, right? And what it was is, halfway through the training, I go to him and just sit down. And what I did this for 8 months, yeah?
Oh,
I just lived on, like, I ate my evening meal, but I'd sip a Lucozade every time I felt dizzy. And I go to him, wait.
That's not good,
bro. Yeah. But what is that? Shed off whole load of weight. I did it the most stupid way ever, but it was one of those things where I was like, I don't want to be like that anymore. Yeah, so I changed it. And I remember I go, wait, Habs, I'm going to faint. Yeah, I'm going to faint. I'd sit on the floor because I would see like blurry. I'd sit the Lucozade, and then once it went away, I was like, come, I'll get back up. And I remember, I soldiered through it, but it was not healthy. Like, you need to eat properly.
It's like when you watch MMA fighters cut weight, like Khabib and that, when they cut weight, sometimes they go blind. Like Jorge Masvidal, I was watching one of his videos on YouTube, yeah? When he did his weight cut, one of them, he passed out nearly and he couldn't see. He went blind. Like, stuff like that happens.
No, bro, trust me, man. I didn't know you get the trainings now, but there's a difference now. Like, I don't care no more. I'll eat. I'll have a nice big breakfast before training. I went the other day to training, and this is like, I don't usually eat breakfast, but before I train, I eat a nice breakfast. And I went there and I felt like a beast. You know, because it just churns away and it burns. It's so important. So important.
They do scientific studies on that, and they show if you have good nutrition and you get 8 hours sleep, you're always going to perform better. Always.
And something Khabib said too, it's like rest. You don't do all of these ice baths and this and that, right? I don't know, it's rest. He has a nap in between, isn't it? That's what he was saying.
Between the trains, so she has a nap, But for a lot of people, they can't do that, innit? Because you have to remember, even a lot of professional boxers, a lot of them, they work. They run in the morning, they'll work all day, and then they'll train in the evening.
Yeah, when do you get to have a nap?
Because a lot of boxers don't make money, especially professional. Obviously, you see the nice limelight on the Instagram or whatever, but a lot of them, bro, they have jobs. They have other stuff they do. So they don't get that rest, so it's hard, innit? That's why they do that.
That's what makes, like, you know, people don't realise it, and obviously this is why I started this channel, right, is to bring a bit more awareness, and I'm a teacher, right, so I want to inspire my kids and people who watch it to do better, and what people don't realise is it takes a lot. Like, you got to be a different caliber of person to go through that, to go to your day job and then go outside of your day job when you want to sit at home watch some TV, because let's be honest, man, everyone wants to chill. It's subconscious.
When you have that hunger in you, like, bro, once you get in the ring, you know, if you haven't done that run, just that one run you thought after you come home from, sometimes when I come home from work, it's dark and that, I'm like, do I really want to go on that run? But then you're like, that run could make the difference.
Big difference.
That run could, even if it's just the extra 30 seconds where you're throwing more punches, that makes the whole difference between winning and losing a fight. Both my, the fights I've won is because of my fitness, because I've been more fit than the other way.
Very good fitness.
Good fitness is a key part of boxing. If you throw more punches, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna, for every 3 punches you throw, you're gonna land one.
You can't gas out. That's the main thing.
If you're not gonna gas out, it's very hard to lose a fight, because you're gonna keep that pressure
game
keep
going.
That pressure, and you're gonna be on him. Even like at Repton, you get boys, they're very good boxers. They'll be doing all of this, and you put it on them, and sometimes they lose it. They've had about 35 fights, but they're not used to someone you're hitting them. They're hitting you with everything you got, and you're just on them, and that comes down to fitness. That's why you have to have. Boxing, some of my friends, they competed in judo. They were British champions in judo, and everyone that does sports like that, they have good fitness. You have to have good fitness. It's the main thing,
man. I remember my brother, because what it is I do, you know, the standard. You warm up, right? Then you do drills, and then you do a bit of sparring, right? He used to just, because I built a gym in my garden, so when he came to stay with me, I remember he goes to me, come, let's just train. I go, no, I want to do drills first, we need to warm up. He goes, no, we'll spar lightly, and then we'll, as you warm up. And I remember all we did was just spar, like roll, and he's like an animal. And then he turned me into an animal, because I realised, I was like, how am I going to learn? He goes, you're going to learn while we're fighting.
Yeah, that's true.
We're going to learn while we're fighting.
That's where you learn everything.
And I remember I got I had to, obviously he's a black belt, right? So he would break me. And on the first day I felt like I had a car crash. And then the next day he's like, come to train. I go, I just trained yesterday. Yeah, and he goes, doesn't matter, come, we're going to train. But what you realise is that you can do it.
Yeah.
Your body can handle a lot more.
It's true.
And then I went and fought Habs, right?
Wow.
And he goes to me, hey bruv, you're not getting gassed out. Because my brother dragged me in there every day training, yeah? And we were doing like maybe about 10 rolls of like 10-minute rolls, you know? And we were doing it non-stop and you know when you're fighting. So it's so important. It's so important to get that stuff in, man.
Yeah, so basically what I'd say is that's where you're going to learn your craft is in sparring. So for me, what I used to do is I never used to drill. I used to only do pad work and sparring. So I remember I used to go to certain clubs. I used to just go travel around. I remember when I was boxing at Repton, I only had a few fights there. I would go to like Peacock's gym. I would go Sparta. I'd travel out and I would just keep sparring different fighters. I remember I never got dropped in a fight. So I never got dropped in a fight. I never got rocked in a fight.
Yeah.
I rarely got hurt in a boxing fight, but in sparring, that's where I got my beatings, man. I remember once I sparred a professional boxer. He's like 3-4-0. His name was Ashley Hill. He used to fight at the same club as us. And once I sparred him, I was like 60 kilo then. He was 75 kilo boxer. But we were like the same height. And I remember I was just outboxing him. I was like punching him. I threw about 100 punches in the first round, And in the second round, I was just trying to outbox him. And I was thinking, why is this geezer like not throwing that many shots? I'm like, what's he up to? You're trying to figure me out. And next thing I know, he just threw a body shot and I just went on the floor.
Wow.
I just dropped straight away and I couldn't get up for about 2 minutes. And my coach started laughing. That's what's happened. I was like, I don't know what's happened. It's the first time I got dropped. And then I got dropped again by him the second time. And then the third time he said, Hass, listen, you know where it is? You're very good offensively. Like you can deflect shots from the head, but you're exposed to the body a bit. And he said, you need to tighten up your guard to the body. And then I remember whenever you throw a body shot, I'll just counter him. Then he stopped throwing the body shot. But that's where I learnt my craft. I learnt my fitness there in sparring because the road work doesn't correlate to boxing. So you can go jog 100 miles, you can go swim, you can go pump weights, you can go hit the bag. But the best thing that gets you prepared is sparring. That's how you learn how to breathe in the ring. That's how you learn how to box. How to have your coordination going, and like you learn how to throw a shot. Because some people, I remember when I used to spar some boxers, they used to be very fit, and they would spar me, and they wouldn't breathe when they're throwing their shots. They would like go 100%. They'll throw a shot and they wouldn't breathe, and then there'll be me there just relaxing. I'll go 6-7 rounds in the ring sparring. And that's what I learned because you learn how to be composed. And I learned my defense there as well. I learned so much in sparring.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. I remember you just brought back a memory. I remember when we were at Butter. Right, and we were doing Muay Thai, but at that point the coach just told us to box, and there was this one guy. He used to swing so hard I could feel the wind move. Do you know one of them ones? He's sparring, but he looked like I dissed his family or something. But he's so angry in his face, and I remember that at that point I kept.
Thinking, I know you're about.
You know what I'm talking about, yeah? I know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. But yeah, you took off.
He went to my boxing classes. I started training him. Yeah, I know, man.
Is he alright now? Yeah,
he's alright, man. He's alright.
Calm down, don't listen. Yeah. But
oh man,
that guy, I remember he was so angry. I'll tell you the story. You're gonna laugh at it now that you know it. Yeah. I kept feeling the wind, so I was sparring with him, and I kept feeling he kept giving
just
me
from haymakers.
Yeah, he was from haymakers. Yeah, and I kept moving back, and I felt the wind each time, and he just kept gonna knock me out. It's gonna like disable me the way he's punching.
Oh, man.
But the thing is, he kept throwing a triple, what's it called, hook.
Bro, that's a crazy combo.
Triple, bam, 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 and I was like, you know what, yeah. And at that point, I was composed, but I was getting wound up, right? And I was like, you know what, if he keeps doing the 3. What I'll do is I'll move back twice and then I'll go under in it and I'll give him a combo. And that's what I did. And I remember I went, I planned it out in my head, and this is why you need a bit of boxing IQ, which I didn't know I had then. Until that moment. And I composed myself. I was calm. I was like, you know, I'm going to do something. Yeah, I'm going to get him back. And I remember I went under it and I gave him a free combo, and I saw his face move when I hit him. And then afterwards, and I knew this guy was an angry guy, and I was like, I can't be bothered with any aggro. So I was like, are you okay? That was an accident. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it's not worth the thing. And the reason I'm bringing this up too is like, have you had experiences like that in the gym? Or are you fortunate?
You know, as in a proper amateur boxing club, you don't really get that.
You don't. They know that.
Yeah,
we had that.
Everyone's at a good level, and everyone spars hard.
Yeah.
So you know you're gonna get hit hard, and then you get out of the ring and your mates, but you've just gone to war.
Yeah, I see.
And you get at Repton especially, you get boys from a lot of other clubs that come and travel. So you come and you spar, and everything you do in sparring is what you do in a fight.
Yeah.
So whatever I've done in sparring, or whatever shots I've practiced in sparring, that's what I'm going to do in a fight.
Oh, so you actually hit hard in your sparring?
Yeah, you have to, because it's the same as the fight. You can go run 6 miles, but then you put a runner in a boxing ring, they're not going to be able to box like a boxer, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because that's where you learn most of your craft, is sparring. You learn on the job, you learn in the sparring, you learn in the ring.
So you don't ever do light sparring and then heavy sparring?
I used to do a lot of light sparring.
Yeah.
The reason I used to do light sparring is I used to like work on my defense. I used to try practice, I used to like countering a lot in it.
Yeah.
Because naturally I was an offensive boxer. But when I wanted to try change my style, I used to do a lot of light sparring. So what I used to do is I used to spar people that were like had 0 to like 3-4 fights when I had like 12, 13, and I used to just work on my defense only. And I used to go light and I used to just tap them, just work on certain combinations, certain counters. Then I would incorporate hard sparring. Then I'll go back to light sparring and then hard sparring. But it depends on the boxer again, because for me, hard sparring didn't benefit me too much.
Yeah.
Because of what I would notice is when I would go hard sparring, I would just end up injuring someone, or I would end up getting injured as well. So the only time I incorporated hard sparring was like only with professional boxers, when I spar the pros. That's when I used to incorporate hard sparring, because then I would learn as well, because the thing is, you're not just throwing like countless punches, you're actually trying to set them up for a next shot and look for an opening. So it depends again on the boxer. Like some boxers, like Princeton Seam, if you read his bios and stuff, he said he never done sparring for his fights, body sparring only.
Body sparring,
There's a lot of trauma as well, because like I said, I hardly got hit when I used to box in the ring. In sparring's where I used to take my licks. In the ring, I never used to get touched in the ring hardly. In
the ring, you're more composed. You're making sure things don't happen, isn't it? And you're actually on your A game. In sparring, you're like, it don't count like a proper fight, isn't it?
You know it is though. Like you see people that hit the bag and they'll do the pads. They'll look very good, or Instagram, you see people posting videos doing like the Mayweather mitt work and stuff. But you put them in sparring and they can't do any of that. It's different. It's two completely different things.
Once you get hit in the face, man, everything goes out the window.
Yeah, that's like Mike Tyson has that saying, innit?
Yeah.
Like, everyone has a plan till you get hit in the face, and it's
trust
true.
me.
Like you see people before their fights talking with their coach saying this and that. But then as soon as they get hit, you don't see them doing any of that.
See, I learned a lot about the game when I became a coach, because when I used to box and I used to warm up for my fights, I never used to understand, like, my opponent would be watching me, this, that, the other, and trying to come up to me. And then when I was a coach, I used to start laughing, because I remember I used to coach my boys, and they would have a fight coming up. And then when we would be backstage warming them up, their opponent would be there circling around the change room, trying to suss them out. I'm thinking, you idiots, what are you going to do? You're just going to get knocked out. You're not going to learn nothing. And even when I went to his bout, I was laughing. The boy who was fighting 2 weeks ago, they're warming up in the same room again. He was trying to walk up and down. He kept walking up and down. So I was like, okay, if he wants to play that game, I'm the king of psychological tricks. So I just went up to him and started watching him box. And I just
straight.
Yeah, I just said, like, I said something, I'm not going to say it on here. Okay, I said something that certain type of boxers don't like to get hit. And I was saying it loud in the change room. Everyone was looking at me, and I just start, and like his coach would just start laughing, because they were trying to play psychological tricks. But because I've been there and I've seen that from a coach's perspective and a boxer's perspective, it's like I know what goes on now.
So
but his experiences, I can say, are a bit different to mine. He's seen like the nice side of boxing. I've seen like the horrible side of boxing.
Yeah.
I've
but
seen
then you can protect him more and give him that guidance.
Like with me, I've seen like when he won his last fight, there was like people coming up to him saying, "Oh, it was such a great display of boxing." Blah blah blah. I'm like, listen, don't blow too much smoke up his backside. I need to get back in the gym. Because I know what they're like. Like I used to get people come up to me after my fights, and they used to be like, "Oh, listen, we'll give you our boxing gloves. Come down to our gym." There used to be shisha lounge owners used to come up to me saying, "Can you put our name on your boxing shorts?" And I was like, "Yeah, no problem." And I used to do that. And the next thing, I remember once what happened was when I gave up boxing, and when these same people, they would hate on me. They're like, "Hass is choosing easy opponents now. He just wants like easy fights," and they would hate on you. I'm like, "Why are you hating on me, man?"
Yeah, this thing.
And people would be like, "Oh, Hass is 19-0, but he's fought all like low-level boxers." I'm like, "No, man. Like if you know about the game,
you jump in and say."
But it's not even that. So if you know about the game, I fought some good boxers back in the day who are like top there now, like in pros. Like one of my mates and the boys I used to spar with as well. Like I don't want to say names again, but they're like pro boxers now. Who I used to put beatings on, and that's what I'm saying. Like I learned a lot of things. Like people would just come there. They'll just come to your fights just to get attention with the winner. They'll want to take a picture just for the clout. There's a lot of things I experienced with boxing. The dirty side, especially in the shows as well. Like the promoters, they'll just want to know you when you're winning. But then if you give up boxing, they don't want to be there for you. Even coaches nowadays, they just see it as like they just want to take a picture with a winning boxer. That's all it is.
It's all clout, isn't it?
It's all clout nowadays.
All clout. Man, what I realise in life is, every success I've had, and it's one of the things is always assume you're not good enough, but not in the sense that you're going to cause yourself depression and anxiety and bring yourself down.
You said similar thing.
Always assume you're not good enough. As a teacher, I don't think I'll say I'm a crap teacher because that makes me always try hard.
Yeah.
When it comes to training, I'm crap at jiu-jitsu. Like the last session I went to jiu-jitsu, I tapped everyone out.
Yeah.
You know? But still, I'll go home and say I'm crap. I will never say I'm amazing because when you say that, you've lost.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned in life.
It's
As
true.
soon as you say that, I'm strong. So what? I'm strong. I can beat this person. I can handle this.
With me, it was a bit different because I was young. When I had too much local fame as a boxer. So when I was 19, imagine being 19, being a boxing coach, running boxing shows, having that reputation as a good boxer.
Yeah.
And then when I used to get hate, I couldn't deal with it that well. Like if you got hate now, tell him, just ignore it. So that's my best advice to anyone watching this podcast, especially the kids at school. If you get negativity, just ignore it because you're not going to see them same people years down the line.
You turn it into energy.
Yeah, and you should use that to fuel your motivation. With me, I didn't use that in that way. I was trying to shut them people up.
Okay.
That's the sort of character I was. I remember when people would hate on me, it would be like after my boxing fights, people say, oh, he's a rubbish boxer, we can knock him out. What I would do is I would go up to him, like, hey, come, let's have a fight then.
Okay.
Because I didn't used to like that. But these same people used to go to school with me, used to go to college with me, we used to hang around, and these are the people that would hate on me.
Yeah.
And that's what it's to get. That's why I kind of like, I lost love for the sport of boxing. So I'd be like, it's my own people, my own Asian people that used to hate on me. And that's what Amir Khan says. It's like some people, they don't want to see you succeed.
Yeah.
And I saw that a lot. And if there was any advice I would give him, I would say, stay away. If there's any people that are hating on you, just block it out.
Cut them out.
Cut them out straight away. With me, I couldn't do that. I was just that sort of character that I always wanted to like, fight the world. That was the problem. So I had to try to shut everyone up. But then I realised, now I'm maturing and stuff, you can't shut everyone up.
Yeah. You know, it's one of the things. I always say, hatred's a cancer, right? If you have a cancer, you cut it out. You get rid of it and you destroy it.
Yeah.
Right? Anyone who brings any form of hatred, negativity, bro, cut them out.
Yeah, it's true.
Cut them out. Like, and you know how the haste is. If someone told you have cancer today, and if you cut it out, you'll be okay, right? You will run to cut it out.
Yeah.
That's how I treat any of that stuff, and that's what I'd say to anyone. Have that haste to get rid of those negative people.
On top of that, it's important to have a good friendship group. So like with me, when I was growing up, obviously coming from like East London, Walthamstow and stuff, when I was boxing, most of my mates, they were like on the wrong sort of path.
Yeah.
And I'll try like elevate my path, I'll try guide them as well. And I'll tell them, but then what would happen is they would just like these same, like I had a very big circle. He could tell you stories of how big my circle was for my fights. And what I realized is looking back at things now, when I was young, all them people used to use me for was just when they would get into a little argument. Let's go Hass the boxer.
Yeah.
He can help us out in a fight. I'm like, man, I'm trained to box in the ring, not on the road.
So that's where we're quite different. Like even though we're quite similar because we're cousins and we do the same stuff. But that's where we're quite different. I've never had friends like that. I've only ever had a few. I've only had 1 or 2, 3 friends. And where I live in South London, and the Asians in South London are quite different to the Asians in East London. The way people act is very different. Like when I come here to meet my cousin and I see how certain boys act, you don't get that where I live. Everyone's quite quiet. Everyone's quite reserved. It's quite different. So I've never really had
the
that
atmosphere.
problem.
And that's what used to happen to me. So. Like the amount of stuff I used to get into out of the ring wasn't good, and it does affect you as well in the long run. I say to him like your friends play a big part in what you can achieve as well in life, because if you have the wrong sort of company, they'll drag you down. So unfortunately, I had that sort of wrong crowd around me. But now, like, alhamdulillah, now I'm established. I've got a good education behind me. I've got a good business as well. That now I've only got like 2 friends.
Yeah, man. 2
friends. It went from like 30, 40 friends. It went from like thousands and thousands of followers on Instagram to a private Instagram account with 50 followers. Yeah. Two close friends who generally have my personal number.
Yeah.
And that's it. No. And I live such a peaceful life now. I'm so happy and content. Whereas before there was too much drama as well. But again, that's what I say to anyone. Just make sure you surround yourself with good energy. If you surround yourself with good energy, you accomplish a lot in life as well. Because people say it depends on like your background and stuff and like how your family raised you. To an extent that does matter. But trust me, when you go to secondary school and college and university, if you surround yourself with like losers, you're going to become a loser. You're going to become a product of that environment. With me, alhamdulillah, I didn't become a product of that environment. But I was going down that path. And that's what used to sidetrack me off boxing, because I used to let that sort of like what's the word? I used to let that sort of like that name get to me. And like these people used to be like gas man. They used to just gas me up, saying, "Oh, you know what? Hass is a boxer. He can KO anyone." And then when they would have issues with like I shouldn't even say this, but there used to be like local like postcode,
Yeah.
like rivalries and stuff.
Awards and
And they used to call me for Has come back here, and I'm like, no man, I don't want to do this. And then they'll be like, Has, you're a boxer though, and then it would get to me like, cool, I'll back it. And then next thing would happen was people would put out knives and this, that, the other. There was knife crime happening, and I've seen like people like my best mates who got stabbed and stuff. And now we speak about it. Some of their mates, they're speaking like, Has, you're lucky you got away from that.
Yeah.
But luckily I had like my dean. I had a strict mum, man. I had a strict mum. My mum used to be like to me, listen, you need to make sure you do something with your life and like hang around with the right crowd. And I had a good family as well.
Do you know what, man? I'm telling you that mums, and family. If I didn't have my mum, I don't know what I'd be.
It's true.
You know?
It's true.
Yeah.
Because like even when I was younger and I started going in a bit of the wrong circle, my mum would just stop telling me, no, you're not going out today. You're not going. Because your mum can identify straight away what's going on.
There's a sixth sense.
If it wasn't for, it's true. If it isn't for your parents telling, sometimes you think, oh, why are they telling me this and that?
Yeah.
But it's for your good, isn't it? Most of the time, at the end of the day, when you look back at it.
I remember once my mum said to me, I remember I was boxing at the time, and my mum said to me, stay away from this boxing person, this promoter. They're bad news for you. And I was like, Mum, what?
She felt it, yeah?
She felt it. And I was like, Mum, I was thinking about Mum, you know, like I know boxing better than anyone.
Yeah.
And I went with that promoter and they ended up like backstabbing me after. But mums know everything, man.
It's true.
Man.
And mums are there for you. Like my mum was there. The reason I'm successful now is because of my mum.